Hell, it's Rusty Dave's, Grumpy Dave's garage. I should have called it Rusty Dave's garage. Is what I'm working on. Got the trunk cleaned out. Got the gas tank out. That's what we're going to discuss right here real quick, and then we'll go into the car for the rear end. But what I'm going to try and do here, let's see if I can do it. That is 20-year-old leaded gas. Now, I've worked on a lot of cars. I'm not going to be bashful about it. The gas tanks are real. I've worked on some cars that were only parked for 6 or 8 years. And I had to literally take the gas tank sending unit out, power wash the tank to get the jelly crud from this unleaded gas and stuff out of it. Or the older ones, you end up getting a rust and stuff. Here's a tank, a 14-gallon tank with 7 gallons of fuel in it. It's halfway full. There's no evidence of rust inside. Now I know that for a fact. Let me see if I can't get up. I'm trying to use my endoscope and the camera and everything at once. This is a great little tool. I looked up in rocker panels with it and looked in different problems that I've located, and I just went ahead and cut. I could look before I cut the panel out. Come on, Eden, come on. There he goes. David, you got your endoscope turned on. Good. Let's get my loopy-doopy-doo done. Yeah, I guess there is an up and a down side on this thing. I'm looking at everything upside down. You gotta be smarter than your equipment, people. Anyway. I don't know if you can see that. That's the shiny bottom of the fuel tank. Okay? Now, if I can get it to curve up in there without going swimming. See if I can't turn it. Can you see that? I hope you can. I'm getting a glare off of it. Anyway, I'm looking at shine. That's the pickup tube. It runs from here all the way back up in there. The shiny metal is the back of the tank and in here. There's no rust in there. I do not have an explanation. None whatsoever. If I raise the tank up and look in there, there's a little bit of silty stuff in the bottom of the tank. Could have been in there from when fuel was put in the car years ago and just settled. This is a handy little gadget for 29 bucks. Looking in, I'll look in all the piston holes. I don't have to because I know the engine runs perfect. Jason Brown does a good job with his engines. It ran good, didn't smoke, didn't rattle. But it just, since I have all the plugs out, I got to go under and do the torque converter bolts and stuff. When I come back up, I'm gonna stick the scope in just to look around for my own knowledge. Doesn't hurt to learn something. See how you can do it to manipulate it to see your walls and everything in there. They make one that you can stick in there. You got a handle you turn. You can actually rotate it around, do all kinds of fancy stuff with it. Take it and turn it. Go up and down with it. straight down, straight up. I mean, it just, you can snake it around. But I don't use one enough to worry about buying that. This looks in rocker panels and areas. I got one spot of rust on a rocker. The rest of the rocker didn't have hardly any patina on it. So instead of cutting it open to look at it, now I just going to fix the piece that's rusty, and I'm comfortable with the repair. Okay. I'm debating on a new sending unit, which I wouldn't have to do, but while it's out, clean it up and everything, then's the time to put it in. Plus, it would also allow me to rinse it out better, slosh it around, and get all the sediment I can out of it. I'm going to use a rust converting primer. I'm going to lightly water brush it with my brass brush, and I'm going to do most of that with fuel in the tank, because it's easier to blow yourself up when it's full of vapors than it's empty it is when it's got fuel in it. So I'm just going to do a gentle, let's just call it a patina cleaning. Okay? No ifs, ands, buts, or fours about it. Hit it with the primer 2 coats. Turn it over, take a piece of sandpaper, lightly wipe off the tank on the outside, do the outside. Hit it again with the primer. Tape off the sending unit grooves so you don't clog them up with paint. A couple coats of spray Rust-Oleum. Some new mounting pads, strips. I need to go 1, 2, 3 in the top and front. I'm still totally blown away by the gas tank. I am. I'm sorry. If you've ever been around these cars, I've never had this happen. I've had 40 Fords and 50 cars. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s when I was working on them, about the same time period that they were sitting idle. And there was no gas tank left in them. The bottom was gone, the sides were gone, the top was ate out. You could slosh the tank around, it sounded like you had gravel in it from everything caving in. If this thing comes out, I'm pretty sure if I slosh a cleaner around in there, blow some air up in it and everything, that this thing will look like brand new. Due to the fact that it's going to be running a 58-pound PSI Corvette style fuel regulator filter. It's going to have a pre-filter and then the pump. So it's going to go to a pre-filter, the high pressure pump with the return. It goes to the return line off of the pressure regulator back to this tank, and the single line goes to the front of the car. I have no idea where I'm going to mount all that stuff. I'll figure it out when I get to it. Right now I am hard set on making a roller, baby. A roller. I'm moving quick because we've got some rain coming in. Jimmy said he's going to come over and weld later. He said he don't care about the rain. He's got another cord. He'll set his MIG up inside the garage. I don't have enough power in my garage to power his MIG with the amps it needs, so he plugs it in the back of the house and does his welding out in the driveway because that's where he wanted to work on the car. But today we're going to work on the workbench. It'll be cooler. Let's go into the car and see what we can get into. Man, I can't believe I can make such a mess. I just hose this driveway down. It looks like Yeah, right in the trash can. Wow. Now look around. Look at this car. Ah. It would probably help a whole lot if I take the camera. There's your trunk floor. That's nice. That's impressive. I am still kind of confused on this, people. We'll talk about it here in a minute. I gotta go get my book and check into it. I don't want to cut, alter something that later I'm going to find out that I got to put back. Let me get this stuff picked up. I'll be hunting for it. All the bolts I had to cut. I threw the captive nut things away. Believe it or not, they cut really nice. The trunk, I just got a zip wheel on them. Had a big washer. I just cut right between the washer and the nut, into the head of the nut, the bolt, and it come right off. I'm going to go on my other website that I go to and check out these straps, why they're here. I think it has something to do with the type of slip joint in the middle of the drive shaft. Because it comes down too far, it could maybe disengage itself. I don't know. These should crack off too hard. I want to put a jack on. I got to release this bolt. I got to undo that bolt, which is the sway bar for the rear of the car. This menagerie right here that you're looking at is the fuel pump. Don't ask me why. Now you know why I'm saving all the plumbing for after it's a roller, because I can work on it while I'm doing the what would you call it? Yeah, I'll think of it in a second. That's impressive. Anyway, they got guide pins to line up stuff here. Now it's funny, the rear end I saw in the book I was reading last night, this arm loads like, this is solid. This one loads from the front like a Ford. This one loads from the back like a GM. So we'll go up tomorrow, or when it quits raining, and remove the. I got to remove the emergency brake cable linkage so it doesn't come up, get damaged or misplaced. Remove all those lines back to here. Because I'll be working on brake lines and stuff while I'm working on removing this hideous black paint off the car, a little bit at a time. Still can't figure out why. Interesting stuff. Get these nuts loose. I'll get the U-bolts loose. I'll get the rubber straps. Ouch. Damn it. Another sharp edge and another cut. Damn it. Tell you what, they didn't spare a penny on sanding and grinding his metal edges. So I'm going to get this out. I want to line it up to the other rear end people. This is the removal of it. I think I'm going to try to crack some nuts and bolts here while I'm at it. I think I'm going to need my special bar and my extension handle, and we'll see if we got any luck. Because once the sway bar is unbolted, the bolts are out the end of the strap holders, and the bolts are off the U. I'm going to raise this up, pull everything out, and then I'm going to drop it down and take the rear end right out from underneath it and clean it up. I want to get in there and do what I got to do. Got to bring the plasma cutter over and go to town on that battery box. It's got to come out of its current position. It is directly in line with the battery box. It's going to be 2.5 inches. The battery will be 2.5 inches up over the tailpipe, exhaust pipe on that side. I'm not going to go rerouting everything just for the battery. I got to consider the offset for the fuel tank. Okay, no big deal there. The center, so I've got equal spacing for dual exhaust to be away from the tank. And this side I got to have a little extra. Think about making a shield. This is a heat shield to protect the fittings and stuff from the exhaust heat. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. It'd be easy to build. Get a piece of 1/8 inch sheet metal, put a lip on it, hang it in there just to shield it. Let's see. Dude. I had that down here already. I guess I don't. Ow. Just doing a little busy work here. Hi people, I'm just taking a break. Not the ideal way to remove it. Broke right off. Doesn't look like hardened correct bolts, so I'm probably getting into something that somebody else has already played with. Let's go 2 for 2 to see what we got. I ran into quite a bit of this up in the engine compartment. It was like they went to the local hardware store and they bought the cheapest bolts and nuts they could find to work on this car. This is why I have not ordered the brake parts yet. I gotta see how many fasteners that are gonna fall to the wayside. It's just really a shame. I had a feeling that one was going to break. I really did right off the bat. For no other reason. It wasn't a hardened bolt. They use hardened bolts for a reason, people. Just leave that nut right there. Think we can go 2 for 2? We can try it. Let's try the last one here for the day. Here's another one of those funky bolts. See what happens. So what we got is one bolt from the hardware store and one hardened bolt that came on the car, probably. Impressive. Well, people, other than we've had a win today with the gas tank, it still baffles me. It does, I have to admit it. We'll get all these bolts broke loose and looby-doob down so they can start soaking, get them broke loose, so everything can be on-bolted. And then when the job is done, I'll have to make a list of all the fasteners. I already got one specialty fastener that I broke. Didn't put that much power on it to pull it. So, people, like. There we go. Like, subscribe, get your build on, and you people have a blessed day. Let me get up here.